Hi, we're back.
It's Sunday, May 6th.
May the 6th be with you.
That was the 4th.
Every day this month, Mom. Every day this month.
Okay. It sounds a bit like May the 6th be with you.
Oh.
Sorry. My son.
Hi.
Okay, anyway, hi. We are not a sex podcast. We are a knitting podcast. And welcome back. Thank you for your support. We love those of you who... my poor son. We are a close-knit family.
Yes, we are.
I am Sue.
I'm Michael.
Okay. And we're from Armstrong in the North Okanagan of British Columbia, Canada.
Yep.
We are a knitting podcast because I clarified that point.
Yep.
And we're following Mike's adventures as a beginning knitter and computer
board gaming.
Every
now and then I bring one of my many hobbies to the table.
Yep. And we're following my ongoing struggle with my yarn and knitting addiction. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we have special guests.
Sometimes, yes. Like last week, we had my sister.
Yeah. And unfortunately, well, I don't know. I'm still trying to get a picture out of her for her progress for this week. So for those of you who watched last week's and are wondering, did she actually go from her, what did we say? I think 3
inches to 6.
Well, she was supposed to go to 9.
Get up to 9, yeah. She was adding 6 to get to, yes, 9 inches.
So I'm still working on getting a picture from her. I know she worked on it, and she said she had to rip it out a couple times because she was having tension issues, and I guess that's what happens sometimes when you put something down for 6 months or so.
You know what? If she sends us a photo before I'm done editing it, it'll go right here.
Or not. Okay, so, yeah. So, things that are just kind of going on for us around here. It's springtime in the beautiful community of Armstrong. Mm-hmm. And we've been in our current location for 5 or 6 years now. And it's
more than that. 6, yeah. So
no, it's really only been like 5 or 6 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. And, you know, everything was great. Then last year, if anyone outside of the Okanagan may not have been paying attention, but we had some really bad flooding. And there's flooding going on, I mean, let's face it, all over the place right now. We had really bad flooding, but at the same time, we had, I don't even know how to describe it. We call it the stink. And if you can imagine this gaseous cloud that smell, okay.
If you can imagine the smell of a sewage treatment plant.
Maybe. But this green, brown, thick cloud. Thick was the word my husband came up with last night. That kind of it literally rolls over our house. Like you can get, it's okay, it's at the front of the house and we can get to the back of the house and it's still okay. Yeah. But I tell you, we're closing windows so fast, it's not even funny. Which is really sad because we are having beautiful weather right now. And then in the evening, when you want to get that cool breeze coming through, we can't have our windows open.
And it's so... we've commented many times on how it is literally just a wall of smell. The other night I was driving home here, and somewhere up the road, I took one sniff in through my nose. I was good. The next sniff, it was full of green-brown smell.
Ugh, it's just gross. But anyway, so what is a little worrisome, I know they're saying in our community that they want to upgrade our sewage treatment plant, which, by the way, I mean, it's not like this is, but it's right down the hill from us.
We haven't had a problem with it before last year.
No. So I'm trying to figure out what has that got to do with the fact that we've got high groundwater, which is a little, what's the word, off-putting, curious, not in my happy
I'm
place.
not a water engineer.
You
I
know?
don't know how these things work.
Very strange. So I was also wondering, though, I said to Dad last night, maybe it's not the sewage treatment plant because we are also surrounded by bogs.
Armstrong is notoriously built on top of a swamp, so...
So it could just be the higher... Because once the water level goes down, we're all good again.
But it's this area.
That's true. Anyway, so yeah. Pray for us.
Please.
We want to get rid of the steak.
I'm overheating in my room.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So just sort of another, we're going to put a picture in here of Mike working, his yarn is taking over his computer desk, which is kind of cute.
Yeah.
Well, pardon me. It's very masculine and funny looking because he's all computered up and he's knitting and there's yarn all over everything. Anyway. Well, you can see the pictures right there.
Computer mess and yeah.
Yeah.
I'm listening to podcasts in that particular photo. I'm just listening to probably listening to Critical Role at that time.
So he's watching people playing
Dungeons and Dragons. And knitting at the same time.
And now he's got me doing it.
Yeah.
So if we're both knitting and hanging out, he'll be like, do you mind if I cast this onto the TV? And I'm like, no, that's great. So we sit there and knit. And I'm like, oh my God, how did that happen? What's going on? Dungeons and Dragons is really kind of cool.
I'm always trying to get more people into it. It's really cool.
Okay, if you want to play Dungeons and Dragons with Mike, and they do it online. They do it online.
Do it online. You can do it online. There are various and assorted ways for you to do it online.
And we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons, yes. And you might actually look at ordering the books and be like, they're very expensive. All the rules are available for free online.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so
anyway,
that's the game, or
so that's what I bring to the table.
Well, no, he's bringing something to the table later.
Anyway.
But something else that I'm wanting to mention, like since we started, this is our 5th episode.
This is our 5th episode.
That's pretty cool. Okay, just, and I don't really want anyone to be able to read this, but this is my bingo sheet. And I think, you know what? It was really cool to sort of take a bingo square and to write down in it all the things that I want to get done, which has helped me not like, squirrel, there's a new pattern. Mm-hmm. Squirrel, there's so yeah, consider doing it for yourself.
Yeah. It'll probably be good for me to keep focused.
Yeah.
But I just want to point out, she's been meaning to talk about this since episode 1. We're 5 episodes in now.
Yeah, I didn't ever put it in my notes. I just always sort of had it sitting on the table.
Did we even have notes on the first episode?
Oh, we had notes.
We didn't? Oh, we did? Okay.
Yeah, we had notes. We did.
I don't remember.
We did. Okay, and so now I'd like to go to what I like to call the do-over and the apologies.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I need that pattern.
This pattern.
So this totally refers back to last week.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and I watched the episode from last week and I was like, I can't believe that you did some of the things that you did. But most of all, I want to send out an apology to Sarah, who is the master planner. Mike's going to put a picture here of the knit along that Mike is
now started on.
And I was intentionally not getting too much information about it because I wanted Mike to do it. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have the printed pattern. I surprised Mike with it on the last week. And
you can hear me say the words. This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Yeah. And so I didn't really have good information, and so this is where my apology to Sarah comes from. So the pattern, which I can't even remember I called it. You
called it Knit a Bit of Whimsy.
I called it Knit a Bit of Whimsy. That's actually, I think, her
company.
Yeah, her company. Well, it's her
website. Her identity
is knitabitofwhimsy.com. Anyway, the hat pattern is Sean's hat. Mm-hmm. So that's the first correction I'd like to make to that. I then said, that it was a really cute pattern and that I thought it would be a great, starter hat for Mike because he hasn't done anything involving color changing.
No.
And this is really like very straightforward because
just a couple bands.
Put
photo back up here so you can see those color bands.
Couple color bands. That's yeah. So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
What we discovered when Mike started reading to me bits and pieces about the pattern, because I was like, well, what yarn do you need? What do you this? What do you that? And Mike said,
I need a worsted weight.
No, not that one.
Oh.
Mike said,
there's 11 pages.
Well, there was that. I was like, 11 pages? And
the back half is all photo tutorials on some of the stitches.
And so I'm thinking to the picture, and I'm like, wow, what, do you need that many? And then he read through some of the stuff, and then he said, begin double knitting. And I went, what? So, my beginning knitter son has joined a double knitting knit along. He didn't know what it meant.
I mean, now that I know what it means, it doesn't seem that hard.
No, and honestly, if someone wanted to, just try double knitting for the first time, I cannot think of a better pattern than this. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm actually really excited for Mike to do this and for us to talk about double knitting. He can do, the knits and the purls. Mm-hmm. And again, like with the color changes, it's not like it's got color work in it. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about Mike's project. Anyway, so Sarah's, Sean's hat, double knitting, it's beautiful. And it's still beautiful. I thought it was beautiful before, but I really did it a disservice in talking about it last week. And we will put up a link, probably when we talk about it more in Mike's. We'll put it here, we'll put it later, we'll put it at the end.
I actually learned that I can't put links in YouTube videos yet.
That's right.
I can put them in the descriptions. So yeah, in the last episode, I had a point where I said I'm going to put a link here, or I'm going to put a thing that said I can't put a link here.
That's why we're calling this part the do-over.
And as it turns out, you can't do that in YouTube videos. There's actually a way for you to put a link on the video that you can click and go there. You can't do that until you're a YouTube partner. Also, my plan on putting just the plain text of I couldn't put a link here, that feature went away a year ago and nobody told me. So there's just an awkward point where I'm saying I'm going to put a thing here, or I'm going to put another thing here, and nothing shows up.
So yeah, do-over.
Do-over. But there will be a link in the description.
Oh,
there will be a link in the description.
Okay, what else?
Okay.
Something else, a little bit of a do-over. This is kind of a do-over from a number of...
everyone that we have referred to this.
Except I don't really take responsibility for this one.
Okay.
No, because... Okay, so what we're talking about is this pattern, which has been commonly referred to and called... And I'm working on another one. It's one of my whips. Mm-hmm. The butterfly papillon
shawl.
Which anyone who speaks French would understand that that's like butterfly.
Mm-hmm. And also papillon is misspelled.
And it's misspelled. So it was like, okay, that's weird, but whatever, right? It's a beautiful pattern. Mm-hmm. So who cares?
Gorgeous, yes.
So today I happened to see one go by on my Instagram feed. It was a lovely picture. I recognized the pattern right away. The woman who's knit it has used a pale, like a creamy color, variegated, like not variegated even, lightly speckled yarn. So it almost looks like a moth wing. It's beautiful.
Wow. You'll have to show me that later.
All the way through. Like it's not got the color pooling like the one I've got done. It's actually very, very... I don't know if I'll be able to find it again. Anyway, So there I read under her photo how much she liked her butterfly pavilion pattern. And I was like, pavilion? It's a typo!
It's a typo.
So in my defense, it was introduced to me as butterfly papillon, which, you know, it's French, it's butterfly, it's misspelled, but it's actually butterfly pavilion, and it's the V in P, and so on Ravelry, it's called, it is still misspelled, butterfly papillion, but it's meant to be butterfly pavilion.
There you go.
So, if you're like that, it's showing up all over the place right now.
Yeah.
So, butterfly pavilion,
Butterfly pavilion.
on Ravelry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to
we're
sort
not
of
done yet.
do over is I talked about the Mittens of the North Atlantic workshop at
Knit City.
And the two-thumbed mittens.
Knitting mittens.
And I'm going to try to find the picture that I found of them again. And I found out why two-thumbed mittens. Like, I don't know why I didn't do that before we talked about it last week. But anyway, so yeah, these mittens are like a mitten, like
with another thumb
with
piece?
another thumb coming out on this side.
Oh.
And in the same place, like it's not like up here. It's not like you would put your pinky in it. It's down here. And I guess that this was something that the in a colder climate, you're going to be wearing a lot of mittens. You're going to be working the fishermen and whatnot. If the thumb got wet, they could turn their mitten. Because if you've ever had that cold thumb syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, it was kind of cool.
That's cool.
And yeah, I did find a picture, and if I can find it again, we'll put it in here. And yeah, so that
is that the do-over?
That I think is most of the do-over.
Good, 17 minutes in, and we're getting to we fixed all our mistakes from last week.
Okay, so we wanted to talk about some yarn acquisitions.
Oh, well, I guess I acquired some yarn too.
Yeah, you too. Yes, you did.
I did.
So in my case, we're gonna put some pictures here of my yarn because I've now completed the project that I got. But so the yarn that you're seeing pictures of is the Malabrigo sock yarn. 139 Procyon? Whatever. Anyway, I know I should have looked it up. Believe it or not, I tried to. And as it happens, Mike also got a Malabrigo yarn.
I did also get, or is it a Malabrigo?
Oh, right. Well, that's part of what we're
going to do.
Malabrigo is how it's pronounced. Yeah. Not Malabrigo. Malabrigo. Yeah,
so I got this for my Cal. In that hat, the I'm planning on doing the color bands in this. And my did I lose? Oh no, there it is. So yeah, this is Malabrigo 416 Indicita. There you go.
And neither of these have a dye lot. They're both a no dye lot thing.
Yeah.
And they're I think yours is also 100% merino.
It's on here somewhere or not.
Yeah, pure
merino superwash.
Yeah. So whatever. So those are, and then you got one other. Okay, so let's talk about Malabrigo yarn for a minute.
We learned some things.
Because we learned some things, and I learned some kind of cool things, I thought, anyway. So, Malabrigo they've been our hand-dyed yarn since 2005.
Pretty young.
Family owned and located in Uruguay.
Mm-hmm.
They have 18 yarn varieties and over 300 colors.
That's a lot of colors.
Mm-hmm. Now in 2010, the factory, and insert picture here, the factory added a flat plate thermal heating system to decrease their environmental footprint, using the power of the sun to heat their water tanks. So using solar power, for which I was just like, cool, like that's neat. They try to do where they practice environmentally safe practices, and use as little water and chemicals as possible. And they also have a new mill in Peru. Now their sheep, this was cool too. Free range merino sheep from Uruguay. So they're
merino's a type of sheep.
Yeah.
Oh, I always hear that word merino, and I'm like, what the heck is a merino?
So it's a sheep variety, and they're herded by actual old style shepherds. So, and again, I've got a picture. We'll put
there it is,
or it may have already gone up. Anyway, I just thought some of that was really cool. Like, I mean, I'm often drawn to the Malabrigo yarns. I think they're beautiful, and they tend to be one of a higher price point, not the highest, certainly, and like this one that I grabbed this time, like it wanted to jump into my arms, and so that's why
we were in the yarn store, and I was looking for my yarns, and you were sort of wandering around, and I just hear this from the other side, from the other room, and I'm like, what have you found?
Yeah.
And she's like, I need this.
Yeah, this is the yarn that I need. So anyway, I feel, and I knew that it was imported, so it was like, okay, so yeah, it's going to be a little bit more because of that, but just knowing some of the information about their manufacturing processes just was like, hey, you know what, that is super cool.
We'll shell out more for more sustainable practices.
Yeah, totally.
That's the word I was looking for, sustainable.
When I can afford to.
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, no, that really kind of put me in my happy place. That was a good thing to learn.
Yeah.
So there's that. And what other yarn did you acquire, Mike?
I acquired a Estelle. Oh, it's attached to my thing, but it's an Estelle. Nice blue there.
And it's the same, actually, kind of yarn as the one that he made his tread hat.
Yeah, my tread hat out of. The color is Q61231. It does
just
have
rolls off the tongue.
Yes, it is. It rolls off the tongue. I don't know if the dye lot matters.
No, it doesn't matter. No.
But yeah, it's a nice dark blue color.
Again, so Estelle worsted.
And yeah, it turns out Estelle is a Canadian company, which I didn't know. I didn't really think that there would be yarn companies in Canada, but no, it was established in 1976, so they're a little bit older, family-run Canadian company. They import yarns from all over the world, and I think I remember seeing, if I can quickly, I've lost the page now. I think they dyed some of their own yarn as well. They aim to offer quality yarns at a accessible price point.
So again, good to know. I didn't know they were a Canadian company.
No, I didn't either. There you go. Proud Canadians.
Well, yeah. Woo! Go Canada.
Canadians, rah.
Okay, never mind.
Wouldn't it be rah, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, and so Mike joined me at my knit night. We knit on Tuesday nights at the Blends on Anderson Way in Vernon.
Yeah.
And everyone's welcome.
Everyone's welcome.
6:30 to 8:30. And so anyway, we're going to put a little video in here. It's really short.
Really short, just showing that we're
But we'll put in a little video here. We may have already put in a couple of pictures from a previous evening. And, and can I just say thank you, Cindy, because she bought us all, anyway, long story short, nobody had to pay for their drinks this last week, and Cindy was the arranger of that to happen. So thanks, Cindy. And while I'm thinking of it, Petra, there's your call out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, little video of Knit Night. Very short, and have fun.
That's a photo.
I took another picture.
You took another picture.
Here we are at our knitting night at the Blends Coffee in London. Mike's working on his tread hat. I'm working on what's it called? A test knit.
Oh, that's what you're trying to say. Okay.
I'm working on a test knit for the Cozy Up Girls. And good times. So these are our ladies at the knitting. Wave, say hi. And so there we are. And good on Mike. He's come out to join us. And working away on his tread hat. Got his yarn today for
the knit along.
The knit along. So you haven't got the pattern yet?
I have not, no.
Yeah, so we still need to do that. But
I'll do that tomorrow. I'm working in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll have the whole afternoon to do that.
Yay! Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
she took a picture at the end of turning off that thing, and you see, if I had maybe left some of the other ones in, you would appreciate that happens nearly every time we turn off the camera.
Every single time I go, okay, we're done, and it's like, no, you took a picture. Damn it!
Yeah.
Okay. You'd think I'd learn.
Anyway.
Okay. So, foes,
because I have a foe now. I should go
foe.
I should go kill my foe?
What?
My foe.
Kill it?
FOE.
Oh. Got it.
That's what Dungeons and Dragons is for.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have now finished after saying that I was only going to get to the end of the body part, I finished the tread hat. And you can see the sort of the tread pattern in it. And I've been wearing this out and about a little bit, and it's quite nice. It's a little small. I would have if I bothered to by the time this thing was finished, I would have gone back and added in another one of these sections. But if I put it on, so it sort of does that. It's a slouch toque, so it's supposed to slouch.
Kind of slouchy and yeah,
there you go. Yeah, love it. It's so soft.
And that's also the Estelle.
Yes, it's also an Estelle worsted.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's it doesn't come up well, but you keep talking about the heathering in this yarn, and it's not going to show.
Well, come right up.
Hi guys. Hello. Here I am.
Oh,
in
you
your
can
face.
just sort of
Just
see
barely see a little bit of greens.
Yeah.
In there.
Anyway, it's beautiful.
Yes, I love this. This was a as a first pattern, knowing how to knit and purl. The only thing that really threw me for a loop was the knitting to back loop, or knitting through back loop, which you do all up all this vertical stuff. These ones are all knitting to the back loop.
But that was pretty easy to.
Once you say knitting to the back loop is literally just putting your needle through the back of the loop. It's fairly self-explanatory. Yeah, this is a good this was a good first pattern.
Yeah.
This was a good one.
And like anyone who's knit a hat or anything that has decreases in it, getting to the decreasing decreasing section is the best.
Yeah, it just flew through.
Flowed. Anyway, so yeah, that's Mike's.
Yeah, this is my first faux.
Okay. So my faux was one. I got two faux because there was one faux I couldn't ignore any longer.
Yeah.
It needed to make an appearance.
Yeah.
But my first faux is I did test knit, and I think I talked about that in the video already.
You did?
Yeah.
You did.
I did.
Yes, you did.
For the Cozy Up girls. So this is their and we have some pictures here because I can't do that. Anyway, this is the Malabrigo yarn that Malabrigo. Thank you, Sammy. Okay. Honestly, when I saw the skein of yarn, I picked it because I knew there was going to be this drop 'em section, and I was like, "Holy crap!" This. Oh, see, and then don't do that when you have long fingernails. This section is going to look amazing when you can just really see the yarn like that. So, this is their triple treat shawl. It's in test knitting right now. Okay, and now we're going to put in there the picture of me trying to block this, okay? I may have been knitting for 40 years, but I only got into like shawl knitting maybe a year ago or so. And I've never had the need to like aggressively block anything. So I don't have blocking mats and I don't have blocking wires. And they would have come in, there's the picture of what I did.
Yep.
They would have come in so handy with this because as you can see, I've got little scallops all along the bottom, which isn't a terrible thing, but it is supposed to be straight. Such a nice, so this is the asymmetrical triangle, such a quick knit. I think it was, I knit it for 3 days, like I did.
Yeah.
And I went a little rogue at, this is you finish at the big end. And, but the triple treat, okay, the triple treat pattern from Cozy Up. So the Cozy Up girls, Cozy Up with the Stitch and Sisters.
Put a link to their channel in the description.
He's so brilliant. This is intended for your one skein. It is a one skein wonder, which is the other reason why I was quite happy to pay a little bit more for the Malabrigo yarn to make this. And as Sarah said, everyone's got sort of that one skein of yarn of sock weight yarn that's just too nice for socks. Like, it's a beautiful yarn, but it's like, really, socks? So this, here we go. Here's your anyway, the picture's up. It's a large, as I was knitting it, well, it was actually, before I blocked it, it was probably only about like maybe this long by like this one. I was like, oh my. And then when I blocked it out and gorgeous. So triple treat, it's called triple treat because they're setting it up where you have a crescent shape, the asymmetrical triangle, or your classic triangle with the spine, all in the same pattern using the same pattern stitches. So it's like getting a 3-for-1 pattern wise, and really a nice easy knit. So certainly for someone who doesn't feel that they're particularly experienced, or is worried, if you're worried about doing, fancy lace work, this is an awesome pattern for that, and I would highly recommend it. Really like this. So when they release it, which will probably be in the next couple of weeks, get it. All right, so I brought another faux. Like I said, this is the one that really, it had to come out sometime. And and from my skein of yarn, that's what I have left. So I probably could have got another row or two in there. I skipped a last minute, or one of the last lace sections I skipped because I thought I was too low on yarn, but obviously I wasn't. And anyway, okay, this is what I commonly refer to as the "what the hell was I thinking" project. My husband just refers to it as the I don't even know.
I refer to it as the sweater.
The sweater, or
the
it's
sweater.
The sweater, or
sweater with a capital S.
That project. Yes. So
the thing.
This is the long leaf coat by Cafe. Shit. I used to know how to pronounce his name properly.
Kafe?
No, FFE.
I
think it's Cafe. It's been so long since I've thought about saying it, and now I'm like, okay, which one was the right way? Anyway, facet.
Anyway.
This is done in Tarja. It's called, the long leaf coat. It's done in Intarsia. I'd never done Intarsia before. The story behind this is that my husband's cousin, who is from the Netherlands, posted a picture of this sweater. At the time, she was in Minneapolis. I saw it and I said, I have to make that. And I was absolutely obsessed with this sweater.
Yeah.
I went to get the pattern, and anyone who can knit and read a pattern would have recognized right away, there's a page missing. So I then went on a hunt for, I need this extra page. Like, I'm not going to start it if I don't have all the instructions. I had enough that I could have knit it, but I wanted all the instructions.
Yeah.
So then I got connected with another lady in, I think she was in the Netherlands. And if not the Netherlands, it was another Northern European country. She connected me with a lady in California. I mean, it was like this international thing going on.
You haven't actually shown the sweater.
I haven't shown the sweater yet. And she had absolutely taken apart and dissected this pattern. If you think you have an idea of what that might look like times 10.
Like she had yardage counts down to the
stitch.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, all of this is held double, and you're constantly sort of pulling out one and adding another, and anyway, so this is the long leaf coat. I did not end up finishing it because it was just too big. I didn't put sleeves on it. Where's the top of it?
Where is the top of it? There's the bottom.
I fudged a collar. So that's let's show the back.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. I fudged a collar on it, and these sort of sleeve things, because it's huge. I mean, I'm big, but this is it's huge. Can you imagine that with sleeves? So the original pattern was from 1992, I think. So this is the shoulder, which there, I'll hold my arm up beside it. That's the shoulder. And it was intended, if we remember the early 90s, this was supposed to all kind of bunch up on itself and make those a big a big shoulder pad kind of a thing up here. So that's, and then this is what it looks like on the inside. with the intarsia. So you're not carrying your yarns everywhere where you have a yarn. Every time there's a color change, you have to change your yarn. So, and it's knit. You start down here and you knit all the way up. So this is one piece, and then turn it around, and then you knit back down for your front sides. And then sleeves, and then there was another panel that went up and made the, anyway, this is like, what the hell was I thinking?
How you were working on this for years?
Well, it really ended up being about a year and a half. I kept putting it down. Well, I couldn't knit it in the summertime. I mean, this is like a huge blanket, and I'm going to. It's not a complete faux because I am going to line it. But it's knitting wise, it's a faux.
And
I couldn't knit on it in the summertime. I got too warm.
mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'd go through, I'd do, 6 or 7 or 8 inches or a couple feet or whatever. And I was just like, okay, I just can't even look at this anymore. It's too much.
And blocking it was also quite the thing. I come home, I think I was still in school at that time. And I come home from school or work or wherever I was coming home from, and there's just this huge thing laid out on the living room floor across like 2 or 3 towels.
All the furniture's pushed out of the way, and
And don't step on it.
Well, I didn't care if you stepped on it. I think the cat was lying on it for a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's my what the hell was I thinking? There's around 50 different yarns in this.
You had quite the impressive organization system for all the different yarns.
And so there we go. There's that faux. It's out. It happened. And never again. It's beautiful, and I'm really glad that I made it.
Mm. Never again.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Never ever again. Okay, faux. Whips!
Whips! That one I know. Work in progress. So, of course, I just joined a knit-along, the Sean's Hat knit-along, and I will probably be posting something. Well, actually, it's a forum type thing that we're keeping track of everything on, and I'll probably post a photo of this in there as well. But here's...
Oh, look at all you got done.
Yeah, well, I was at work. And
Brian asked me the other night, what does Mike do at work anyway? I said, well, he knits. He's like, oh.
Yeah,
Brian's his boss.
Brian's my boss and friend.
And friend.
And
game night.
And game night friend.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just a whole bunch of ribbing right now. It is what did you call this?
Held double.
Held double, yes.
So that was my next with this pattern. Because when we went to get the yarn, Mike, I don't know.
I looked at the Ravelry page.
That's right. We still hadn't printed this.
Still hadn't printed the pattern. I was just looking at the Ravelry page on my phone, and it said a worsted weight yarn.
Yeah, and
it turns out that if you're doing the worsted weight, it's
held double.
Held double.
It actually calls for a bulky yarn.
Weight, yeah.
So I was like, okay, so we're gonna not just double knit this. We're gonna double knit it with
held double.
Yeah. Yay, new knitting. Okay, so that was good.
That's coming along.
I'm feeling like that's small, but anyway.
That's what I keep thinking too. But
double knitting.
Double knitting.
Yay, double knitting. So double knitting is a process whereby you knit 2 right sides.
Back to back.
Back to back. So on a hat, it would be like completely reversible.
Mm-hmm.
And when you, and I just happened, this was a thing I started double knitting a long time ago. And then it was just, anyway, I was making this for someone who I love, and it was going to be a scarf. And if you can't tell and you don't know, this is a Star Wars
thing, yeah.
And as you can see, it's the same on both sides.
Yeah.
And when you're knitting it, you're knitting like you're doing like knit purl, but you're knitting this side, then this side, then this side, then this side. And when it's color work, you're switching colors along, and then in the next row you'd have to figure out which colors you were switching to and stuff. And if that had been the case for this hat for Michael, I would have said, yeah, no, not the place to start. But because it's he's either going to be knitting his blue, and his multicolored yarn is going to be on one side or the other, and when it switches for the stripes, okay, on that row you switch it.
Yeah.
And it's knit purl, knit purl, knit purl.
Yeah.
And I think Mike will be quite successful at that. But so for anyone who didn't know what double knitting is, it's knitting the one piece where you have two right sides. And sometimes you can find patterns that are really fun where the picture, this one's, it's a mirror. So that's not too hard. But sometimes you get it where there's actually different things on both sides, which
I think I'm a little ways away from that yet.
Yeah. I'm not even sure I think that would fall into the category of that sweater.
Of what was I thinking?
What the hell was I thinking? Yeah. Anyway, so double knitting.
Yes.
So you've got that started, and we'll be pretty soon. It looks like.
I'm already. This is the band around the head, and it says to knit to around 2.5 inches, and this is, I think, like I measured it 1 3/4. So
I don't know. But those are the.
I decided to go with a variegated yarn for the colored stripes just because I like variegated yarns.
I think it's going to look really sharp.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes of that. Awesome.
I enjoy variegated yarns, but I recognize that they're not for everything.
Okay. And I have 2 whips. So, I have more than that. We all know I have more than that. And I actually did do another section on my butterfly.
Woohoo!
No, that was last week. Okay, never mind. Okay, so
Graphite tank.
I blocked it, and I still think it might be a bit on the large side. And I am making the third from the largest. So not the largest, not the second, but the third one down. And I don't know if it's the Pima cotton, if it is just stretchier, but, and I did do a gauge swatch. I did. Anyway, so I've done, I don't know if you can, you can kind of tell there where I went from blocking to starting. So I blocked it to about there, and I've done about that much more. I did that sitting in the car dealership yesterday waiting for my tire to get repaired. So there was that. And then I think last week
you did show these, yes.
I showed these. So these are the socks in the broken seed stitch. And the light's a lot better in here. Well, no, you're still not.
I mean,
really...
the light's better, but doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah. Anyway, so and like I said so many times before, I dropped stitches, but I'm a 2 at a timer. And I am
picking up stitches
as we speak. Can you feel the tension in their tension? Can you feel the tension in the room? Anyway, okay, but so the most part, people will say to me, I get it. If you're doing 2 at a time and you're knitting, the tube, that's pretty straightforward because you just go around and around the tube and yay you. But what do you do when you get to the heel flap? And I do prefer a heel flap and gusset. I just feel like they fit better. They're more comfortable, and I just feel like they fit better. So here's my quick little, what do I do with my 2 at a time? So at the, I just start going back and forth. So I'll do, instead of going around, I turn around and I will do cross and then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until I get to the heel turn. And then that I do 1 at a time. So I will knit the heel turn on one, then I'll knit the heel turn on the other. And then where I'm at right now is, besides dropping stitches, I'm just on my way to, so I've finished all my heel turns, I've finished my flaps, so I'm coming around and I'm going to pick up for my gusset down here, and then, so I'm pick up one side, then I'll go over to this one, and I'll do the same thing. I'm starting from the same place. I go around and I pick up for my gusset here. I'll finish the round around the original sock and come over here and I'll do that side part of this one, and then I'll pick up this gusset and I'm back across my heel turn and down this side, and then I'll pick up this gusset and away I go. I know for some people your head just went,
I don't understand most of what you just said.
well, that's okay. You've never knit socks. If you've knit socks, you might be able to understand what I was saying, and that's cool. Admittedly, I have a very visual, mathematical brain, and so that kind of thing for me just totally makes sense.
Gee, I wonder where I got that.
You scored, your mom and your dad. Anyway, but I love this broken seed stitch and the way
it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's hard to see on the camera, but it's really nice.
Anyway, so I'm looking forward to carrying on those, and we'll see where I end up with it. Okay.
It's interesting to do something like that with a sock blank. Like the ones where like they've made the sock, they dye it, and then, or is that what a sock blank is?
Well, a sock blank, it's not so much like they made a sock. It's just there's a knitted piece of fabric.
Okay.
And then they dye it. And there's different things that they might do. They might put on pictures. They might just put polka dots. They might put checkerboard. They might do stripes.
I was thinking.
Speaking of stripes, came across a picture today on Instagram, I think it was. Yes, Mud Punch on Instagram, dyeing self-striping yarn, and I just thought it was a fun picture, so we'll put that here. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm not quite sure. I'm getting where you're going with that, but that's how it goes.
Right.
So we done whips. Mike.
Yay!
What do you want to bring to the table?
So, what I bring to the table so far has mostly just been board games, but today I thought I would bring one of my other hobbies, because I have many. I also do programming, and specifically I'm interested in a field of programming called generative art, which is using the ideas of randomness and computer programming to create art.
It's really quite cool. He sold some of it, yeah.
Some of his artwork.
Yeah.
And so what I worked on in the last week is a program that will generate written knitting patterns.
This is good.
And I don't know if I should explain a little bit of how it works. It's very
No, I don't think
simple?
you need to
No.
explain how it works.
So,
but
anyway, it's something that I'm planning on continually honing into better and better things. Currently, it just makes scarf patterns because that's kind of simple. But I know how I can make it get like hats and shirts and gloves even. So, I have photos of several patterns, and I'm going to put them up there. But then I'm going to they're not clean. Like sometimes in the patterns here, let me find. Sure, this one's interesting. So I'll put up the image now.
there it is.
So it says cast on 15 stitches. Section 1. Oh, also image down.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. Do whatever you. These patterns that I'm putting up here are free to a good home. Do what you want with them.
You'll understand this.
You'll
better
understand in just a
second.
moment. So
This is hilarious.
cast on 15 stitches. This is one of the smarter ones. I'll get to a dumb one in a second. Row 1, section 1, row 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. Repeat to end of row. Row 2. The pattern literally says knit 2, knit 3, repeat to end of row. So that's just knit to end of row. That would A be knit 5, repeat to end of row, but then it's just knit to end of row. Repeat rows 1 and 2 3 times. Section 2. Row 1 is knit 2, purl 6, knit 2, purl 5, turn. Oh, yeah, there's turn.
Oh, it says knit 2, purl 1, purl 2.
It says knit 2, purl 3, purl 1, purl 2. It's up on the screen. And then knit 1, purl 3, knit 1, knit 2, purl 5, turn, repeat rows 1 and 2 5 times, repeat sections 1 and 2 until desired length.
That one actually is far more complicated than the one I thought he was going to share. This
Here it is on the screen. So, cast on 15 stitches.
Wow, 15.
15 stitches. Section 1, row 1, purl 15, turn. Repeat row 1 5 times. Section 2.
So let's just picture that for a second.
that's not even the one. There it is. Okay, sorry. Yeah, repeat row 1 5 times.
So we purled
Garter stitch. Section 2. Row 1, knit 5, repeat to end of row, turn.
So we knitted 5 3 times.
Turn.
And we're turning.
Row 2, knit 5, repeat to end of row, turn.
So we've just done 2 rows of garter stitch.
Repeat rows 1 and 2 5 times. So
10
rows of garter
10
stitch.
rows of garter stitch.
Repeat sections 1 and 2 until desired length.
So we've now done what, 5?
We've done 5 rows of purled garter
stitch.
stitch and then 10 rows of knit and garter stitch.
But it's all written out now.
And it's all in a very long Where's an interesting
anyway,
one?
that's...
Here's one that's actually a little bit more interesting.
Oh.
So, and again, do what you want with these. Cast on 12 stitches. Section 1.
Here's a
row
switch.
1. Knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, repeat to end of row. Row 2. Knit 1, purl 2, repeat to end of row. Repeat rows 1 and 2 5 times.
Knit 1, yarn over to end. So
knit 2 together. Knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Section 2.
Oh, okay. Actually, that's... Oh.
Yep. Section 2. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, repeat to end of row. Row 2. Knit 2 together, yarn over, purl 1, repeat to end of row, and there's turns at the end of each of these rows. Repeat rows 1 and 2 5 times. Repeat sections 1 and 2 until desired length.
So that's actually kind of a nice lace pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's...
And as I said, this will get better. I'll probably do an update sometime from now when maybe it's a little bit more smart about what it's doing.
This is what happens when a computer geek starts to knit. Oh, I need to make programs.
Well, I've also already sort of developed programs that could make a chart pattern from any generic photo hand it a photo, give it a color palette of the yarns you're working with, and it'll tell you how to make that photo in those colors.
That's kind of cool. I think there might already,
I'm sure that already exists,
be
but
something. But just the fact that he's making it, that's kind of cool. I think.
So and that's
so
that's what I bring to the table today.
He's so smart. Okay, thanks, Mike. That was neat. All right, so I thought it would be a good idea to look at some of the festivals and retreats and things that go on around, because so often you hear like, oh, there's this yarn festival somewhere. So I picked at random a few from various locations. I picked one for the Netherlands at one point, but then without my husband here, because he's fluent in Dutch, I couldn't read the details, so I just another time. Anyway, so coming up Friday, May 11th in Lake Elmo, Minnesota, it's the Shepherd's Harvest Festival.
Ooh.
And it's a place where you can go and hang out with sheep and other things that make yarn.
Alpaca.
And Angora rabbits and goats and all of that.
Angora's rabbits?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Again, another one I didn't know.
I think. Okay, let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it's rabbit. Anyway, so yeah, where does your yarn come from? A good opportunity to go and learn about where your yarn comes from. On Saturday, May 12th is the Calgary Spring Fiber Fest.
Ooh.
At the Crossroads Market in the Big Tent.
Oh. The big one.
The big one.
The big one.
So you'll have to find more information on that if you so desire, but that's coming up in the Calgary area. On May 23rd, this one I want to go to. It's the Spring Knitting Retreat in Reykjavik in Iceland.
That's why you want to go to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
6 days.
Ooh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm camping through a portion of that, so I won't be able to go. But I want to. That would be cool. I'd love to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Icelandic knitting was sort of part of where my knitting story began, so yeah. All right, and we have the Leeds Wool Festival 2018 on June 2nd in Leeds. And for those of you who don't know, that's in the UK. And in British Columbia here, we have on Salt Spring Island.
Very nice. Love
Salt Spring Island. And again, the the girls who do Knit City in Vancouver. Anyway, they just held their a retreat on Galliano Island. And I saw some beautiful pictures from that. And so Salt Spring, very much the same kind of thing. So that one is called, it's from June 8th to 11th. It's called Take the Fear Out of Fair Isle. Sounds like a good one. Okay. Then, for those of us in the Okanagan, Shuswap area, Smilkameen, Yarn Okanagan. Oh, Kamloops, Thompson. Yeah, Okanagan, Shuswap. Yeah. Yarn Okanagan. So it starts on Friday, June 15th from 6 to 8. There's a sip and stitch at a winery.
Ooh.
So that is a free admission, but they want you to register for it. And you can, there'll be wine and stuff available to purchase if you so desire while you're. Bring a lawn chair, and I bet, oh gosh, if the weather's nice.
Where is that?
In Kelowna.
Okay.
At a winery.
At a winery, okay.
I can't remember which one. I wasn't, go and find out. You can
find yourself.
it. You can find it. Anyway, Yarn Okanagan. Then on Saturday, June 16th, from 10 to 4 at the Best Western Plus in Kelowna is the marketplace. And, yeah. Now, I'm really, again, this is like, my husband has a camping trip planned. Now, it's actually a motorcycle trip he's going on with my my brother, and I'm the road crew. I get to tow the trailer. so happy about that. Actually, I don't mind at all. But that's sort of scheduled in there. So I'm wondering if I might just like send them on their way for a couple days because I really, really want to go to this.
I'll go for you.
Oh, well, you can come with me. Oh, and that's a $5 admission to the marketplace. But anyway, so I got to talk to him about that. I don't know exactly what day they're planning on leaving and stuff. So those, anyway, there's a random selection of yarn festivals and retreats coming up from various locations around the world. Yeah, so I think that's it.
That's about it.
That was lots of stuff. So.
That was lots of stuff. This is going to be a long one.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. We'd love it if you could give us a thumbs up. Subscribe.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to when we can get, sort of maybe to a milestone of subscribers. Notice how I left that wide open.
Yeah.
A milestone.
A milestone. Yep.
I'd love to do, giveaway or something down the road.
Yep.
Yeah. So keep your
knitting close and your family closer.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Oh, find us on Ravelry.
Find us.
Sue
Garen's, Mike Garen's. It's always on the end card.
And I did try to get a Ravelry group going, but it didn't like me, and I don't know.
Someone needs to get in contact with you now, and
so I'll try that again. But in the meantime, and I'm Sue Garen's on Instagram. You can follow me there or ask me to follow you, or you know how that works. So,
bye.